Hey YouTube, preppers, survivalist, bushcrafters, thanks for joining me again. I have here before us our Condor H2O pouch, and this is going to be made into our Canteen pouch survival kit today. There's just to be a short video on some ideas of what you could put into this. As we know, on this particular design, it has a forward pouch, a front pouch, if you will, and of course the main section for your water bottle or canteen cup or however you want to call these. I like these stainless steel ones. It fits the 40 ounce very well. And once again, I got this particular Condor 10x4 H2O pouch on Amazon for about $13 shipped. It was a really good deal. But this fits in there great, and from what I understand, the canteen cup that I ordered fits also. It nests on the top, and it fits in there as well. So that would be something that I would add as well that I don't have yet. So with that being said, in this front pouch or pocket of this particular system, I would have a Coughlin's fire steel, and I have a little pouch for that, a backup means of fire. I'll have a total of 3, but just 2 of them will be in the front pouch. This is a mini Bic lighter. I got a little bandana, space poncho, and just it could be just a blade or a small multi-tool. There's just a little bit of room left in there, so you could probably put maybe a small multi-tool or maybe a food bar in there if you wanted. So this is a K-bar dozer. So what else could I get in there? Well, what I ended up doing was, even though I won't have any water if I do it this way, I could use the actual canteen, or if you have maybe some type of water bottle or whatever you're using, and just use it, especially if it's wide mouth like this, and put some gear in there so you have a lot more capability. And so I was like, okay, I'll probably do that. I like the idea of having water in there. It's definitely awesome for survival, but if you can have other means of gear that you could take out of here and put it in your pockets or on your body, or even in a backpack if you had it, and disperse that gear, and then you fill this up with water and get access to water, you would have those other pieces of gear that you wouldn't have if you just had water. Of course, that's contingent on you finding water, but in most cases, I think that, if in your area, if that's okay, and if you have lots of water sources, I think it would be a wise idea to use the space for more gear, at least in my applications. So that's what I did. So what can you cram in that sucker? About 30 feet of parachute cord, some espit. These are just fuel cubes. Excellent. They last for quite a while, actually. I think about between 13 and 15-minute burn times. And this is my third means of fire. I got some storm matches in this small little match case. Works really well. And then the match case is made by Coleman. You can get them for like 99 cents at Walmart. I got this little keychain gig. You may have seen this before. Just kept just a couple things on there. So you have a navigation with your compass, a backup blade, a little fixed blade that's serrated. You have some safety pins, a small can opener. I believe this is the P38, and a backup light. Because the primary light would be my favorite, as you know, a headlamp. Preferably a decent quality, long run time LED headlamp. And you probably would want to put some extra batteries in there. Because in the canteen, at least in mine, there was enough room for extra batteries, at least one set of extra batteries, and which would be 3 AAA batteries for that particular item of that headlamp, and 1 to 2 food bars, depending on how big your food bars were. So that could fit in there. So I was like, wow. It's a pretty good layout here of stuff, and I think that really would meet most of your needs, because we have our shelter, we have our water pre-filter, and it could be made into char cloth for tinder, also for first aid, bandaging, and protection, against dust and stuff. We have our cutting blade. We have a backup cutting blade. We have a backup light source, navigation, some medical items, such as the pin. And it could also be, these safety pins could be used as a fishing hooks, means to get food for the can opener. If you had, that option to eat from canned goods, you get your primary light, and you could also use that for signaling. You got 3 different ways here: matches, lighter, and a flint and steel fire striker. And then, of course, you have your container, and you can also boil water and boil food or cook food in this because it has the wide mouth. And maybe you could even use this for signaling. It's kind of shining. I don't know. Maybe I think you probably could. Maybe if they're not too far away, maybe within a mile or so, you could probably use this for signaling. The bottle itself, you got a tinder source and a fuel source. You also have another tinder source, but you also have cording, and you can use this for first aid and fishing line, and the countless hundreds and maybe thousands of uses with parachute cord. So that's what I came up with. I think that we're sitting pretty good with this layout. If you have any ideas of how you would make your survival kit using a canteen cover or a canteen pouch system, please let me know. I'd be curious. I'm kind of putting this together actually for real life. So even though these are just examples of what you could put in one, I am trying to figure out what would be the most efficient things that could be used here. The one thing I didn't really do that you might want to bring up is that I didn't use any of the MOLLE on the outside, and I didn't use these D-rings. I didn't make an actual, like a sling or a harness or a shoulder pad or anything. So I didn't use that. I didn't use any of these straps. I guess you could weave paracord in here and not use the space inside for the paracord. I guess you could maybe put your knife, clip one of your knives on the outside, maybe a light on the outside, maybe on this D-ring. There's probably a lot of things you could really do to bring some of the gear on the inside, on the outside, but still secure. Even like this sheath that I have, one of my fire steel is in, maybe there's a way to tether that to this. So anyways, there's just a lot of ideas. I was just trying to see what I could fit on the inside, but of course the outside, that's a whole nother beast and a whole nother project, a whole nother world venture to conquer. So I like this pouch quite a bit, actually. I was kind of concerned maybe about quality, but it ain't that bad. It really isn't that bad at all. And for getting all this gear that we just went over into this, it's pretty efficient. You could put this in the trunk of your vehicle, or have it as a backup kit in your main kit if you're going out for an extended amount of time. And I think this is a pretty decent concept to put a survival kit with your water bottle, so you can have all your basics covered. Or you could just, if you already have your survival kit, you could just always go back to using this as your water kit and a food kit, and have some of your mess kit items here, some utensils and spices, and maybe some food bars, and you could just use this just for food and water. But you could also do what we just did and have all the basic gear just for your core essentials to get you through a few days of worst case scenarios, if you got lost, or if you got injured, or if you were alone, and basically you just needed to make some shelter and to recoup. So, or just wait for rescue to get to you if you couldn't move. So, thanks again for all your comments and support. I'll catch you real soon.